Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar today, which is on v5.0 of Medial, a preview of our upcoming version. On the call today is myself, Rob Thomas, CTO, and also David Lowy, who is our Business Development Director in the US. As part of the new launch of the new version, and also as part of the rebrand of Medial, we've segmented the product offering into three main areas: library, live, and learning. So the first of those areas is Medial Library, and this essentially encapsulates the existing portal technology that most of our customers are familiar with. So when you go to the Medial Library, that's the area where the content is segmented and can be protected via conditional access via things like Active Directory and LDAP. The second area is Medial Live. So in version 4 we have some basic live capabilities where you can run a live channel and you can start and stop the live channel and archive to a category. In V4 we've extended those in V5 we've extended those live capabilities so that now we have a complete live workflow, and that also includes using the Medial Live app, which is available for iOS and Android. The third area is one that's already popular with most of our customers, albeit we have extended that, and we'll go into that in a little while, Medial Learning. And this is essentially an area that contains the integrations that we have with the popular LMS systems like Blackboard, Moodle, and Canvas. And we've also extended that to include a tool for doing screen capture as well, which we'll show a little bit later on. But really segmenting into these three areas is really an effort to kind of simplify the product offering and make it very easy for customers and users to understand how the product works and what it does. So Medial Library was really where the product started out, and it is about connecting creators and viewers, as we're saying here. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to David, who's going to show what's new in V5 of Medial in terms of the Medial Library part of the product. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks to all of you for showing up to preview version 5 of our software. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. So let me go ahead now and show you the new version. And there it is. This is our new highly responsive, very modern looking interface. You're looking at the dark skin right now. We've baked in, for those that you don't know, JW Player and the Wowza streaming engine to power our product. The first thing I'd like to talk about here is the branding. So up above here, there's the logo that can be easily changed, as well as the image in the middle there, something that you can change. I could envision seeing people change this every quarter just to keep the site fresh and reflect what's going on at their school or institution. You'll notice that we have put some very minimalistic icons in. They are animated. They do have labels that will help new users get familiar with where they want to go. But again, we're trying to create an environment that's extremely clean and lacking in visual noise. We do have a new user information area, allows you to directly jump to some of most used back-end items like content, preferences, and so forth. Another thing that we're doing to create a clean environment is we're now hiding the category section. So it's a drop-down menu. I can see some people are making comments on can this be in the open position? And yes, this is going to be admin accessible to set up for collapse or expand. To show you quickly how modifiable this is. I did set up another site that I'm working on, and let me just show you how it can look by just changing a logo and some images and a little bit of different content. So here's another site completely branded quite a bit differently. So, Medial, other site. Now if I scroll down a little bit, we have the featured area. Oops. Right here. It does have some abilities that are new. You can, as an admin, you can modify or delete content by just clicking here. We have some new arrows that are animated and minimalistic that allow you to scroll through. And go below that, you have your most recent, most played, and then we have a random content here. As you can see, we do have some animations that are going on that allow you to see some additional information. Now let me take you to the player page. Again, the player page has also been fully redesigned, very clean, fully responsive. I'll demonstrate the responsiveness right now. So we went from a desktop, let's say we're now down to about a tablet. Now I take it all the way down to a mobile phone. So now we can make sure we're handling all screens from desktop to mobile. We've taken and cleaned up the sharing. We put it here so you can share. This URL will take you to a browser tab and open a window there. And here you have embed code with several different selections. The default is responsive, but if you're working with some slightly restrictive parameters or specific parameters, you can choose from these three options here. Some nice new features that are part of our newest JW Player implementation are a multi-speed playback. So now you have the ability to select several different speeds. This has been a big request from the educational market. Evidently, students just don't want to wait around. We will also have a variable bit rate that is auto sensing, will be released in version 5, and shortly after that there will be an update that would allow users to select their preferred streaming quality. Down below, you'll notice we have an information area that allows additional engagement by users, and it has 4 different tabs. So currently we're on the About tab, and yes, you will be able to remove the download button here. The next tab is the Discussions, to increase some social activities with the asset. You can attach different files to the asset, and then we've got a new built from the ground up chapters. So chapters can be created on the fly, which is real nice. While you're watching the content, you can create chapters. There are 2 different types of chapters. There's public, which is typically used by the creator of the content to mark or break up the video for, let's say, for instance, in an event where you might have multiple speakers, you might want to create a chapter for each speaker. If it's a lesson, you might want to create multiple chapters for the different topics that are being covered. So let me create a couple of private chapters real quick. I'll start streaming. So we're watching the video, and I say, okay, this is something interesting, so I start a chapter. And it creates it right down here below. You can easily change the name, and you can add some content down below. Now you say stop, and let's start. We're continuing to watch. Oh, this is very interesting here, and we create another chapter. That's how easy it is. So now these chapters also have the ability to be, you can look at them directly, and you're only watching that little segment, and you can actually share that segment with other users. Now, at any time you want to go back and watch the full video from that segment, you'll click here and it'll bring you back to the entire video. So that's kind of a nice feature. Makes it very easy for either the creator or a viewer to make some markings on a piece of content. There's just one final portion of the player page, and that would be the additional content from the same category down below. You can either click on the video to open up the player page if you want to look at anything particular down here, or you can actually click here for more from a particular category. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll show you the category page, which is also the same as what it would look like if you were doing a search. This would be the search result page. So that concludes the library portion of version 5. Let me go ahead and give it back to you, Rob. One moment.
Thanks, David, for that run through of the Medial Library part of the product in v5. Now we're going to move on to the Medial Live area. Now, as I said earlier, in v4.0 of Medial, we did have some live streaming capabilities where you can set up a live channel and you can archive the output of that live channel upon completion. Now, what we've done in v5 is completely extended that capability and have a very, very cool live workflow that David's going to show you. The other thing to say here as well is that in linking that up with the Medial Live app that's available for iOS and Android, we've made the process of live streaming incredibly easy, so that if you wanted to give your users the ability to do a live stream themselves, live stream a class or a lecture, for example, just using their iOS or Android device, you could very, very easily do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to David now, and he's going to show you a demo of exactly that. Over to you, David.
Okay, here we go. Live. So let's go into the live channel. We'll start there. And as Rob mentioned, we've really worked hard to create another level for our live offering in comparison to version 4. Version 4 was great, very simplistic, but now you can really create live channels with just a few clicks. Version 4, you had multiple steps, front end and back end Wowza engine. You had to do a number of steps there. We've reduced that down to a single step in the front end only of version 5. I think the admins that have set up channels in version 4 are going to really appreciate that. And additionally, getting your encoder connected to Medial channel is going to be a lot simpler, because the only thing you'll have to do now is email yourself from within the wizard, and I'll show you that in a second, an XML file directly to the encoder device. And it's even easier if you're going to be utilizing our Media Live app on iOS and Android, because you'll send yourself an email to that device, click on the link, and open it up on the device that the app is residing, and it actually will automatically populate the fields in that app, and the user really has to do nothing except for hit the big red button and start streaming to the channel. So really couldn't be any easier. This is a major, I think for people that have done live events, they're going to really appreciate this, because it gives you that professional look and feel without having to hire a professional team. A single person can create this entire workflow in minutes, quite honestly, rather than days. Okay, so let me take you here. A couple things I want to show you. These are the live channels down below here. This is the featured channel for whatever's going on in your world. You click here to get some additional channels, And let me go ahead and turn on my encoder so that I can show you what it looks like when there is an actual live event going on. 1 second. So I've gone ahead and turned on the Media Live app, and now you can see here we have an additional row of channels that are actually live. And this is great because you can then go to the live area and people can immediately find who's broadcasting. So now let's jump into the wizard, and I'll show you how the multiple pages look and how you can create them. And okay, this is our wizard for version 5 live. This is a really nice environment to create these multiple pages to help you create a professional event. The nice part about this is that each one of these pages is tied to a single URL. And that's a pretty big thing because nobody's doing that. And if you were to try to create an event without the Medial Wizard, you would actually have to have somebody go out and create 4 separate pages on a website, and then you would have to embed your player information onto each one of those pages. But the problem is each one of those pages is going to have its own URL. And that gets kind of complicated when you're sending out an email saying, hey, click on this link to join us at an event that's going to happen in 3 weeks. With our workflow, you send out an email with a single URL on it, and you promote the event with that URL, and you say, please click on this URL frequently as we will be changing information. And it's nice because you are the director of these pages. So right now I'm in the preview mode. The preview mode is designed or is to help you when you're designing each one of the pages, that you can kind of flip back and forth between pages, but you're not actually changing what the viewer sees. When you click on Switcher, now you're actually changing what a viewer would see on their browser. So you can see I'm on pre-event 1. This is what they're seeing on a browser. If I click over here to pre-event 2, which I might use to say promote the event with a video, maybe a week out before the actual event. Okay, so we're looking at it here. This is what we're seeing in our director's view. And that's what the user is actually seeing. Now I might go here a few minutes before the event. Of course, I'm going to switch over as the director to the live stream. And now you can see that the whole look and feel has changed. You're again still maintaining a single URL. The user has to do absolutely nothing, because when you as a director are clicking on these buttons, when you click on it, it sends a refresh signal to the browser, and this works on all devices. So even on mobile devices, it will send a refresh signal to that device, and this way they're seeing what you want them to see. Now I'm going to take a quick step back. I'm going to put this back on pre-event 1, and I'm going to take you through here a little bit of the appearance section. And we get to say what we want to show up on each page. So you can specify many different types of items in the player area on the page. So this is where we would work with the player appearance, we call it. So you could put a video in there. You could have a picture that would be for the entire channel, or each page could get a specific picture, or you could just say, hey, I don't want to do anything, just use the default system picture. You can have HTML code in there, or you can just leave it empty. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but you can assign those items to each one of the pages, and really it makes it interesting to use either images or video to help promote the event. Now, the next thing that you can do is you can go in and specify specific information on that page. So the layout of that page. So let me just jump back here to preview. So how do I want my live page to look, for example? I want a header. I've got a header area here. I've got some text here. This is my player area. So right now I just have an image in there because it's, of course, the live channel. And when I turn on my cameras, this will get replaced with the stream. I've also asked that I'd like to have a message bar here. And speaking of this message bar, this is an administered chat. What that means is that users or viewers don't get to see what questions are being asked, but it will go to a web page that we create for each channel, and as viewers are typing in their question, clicking send, it goes to this page. And so either, if it's a small event, maybe the Q&A of the event, the speaker might switch his laptop or device to that particular page so that he can see the questions coming through. If it's a larger event, what will typically happen is you'll have some kind of an assistant that will be getting those questions, and then we'll ask the speaker to respond, to those questions. Here's some additional text that you can have down below, and you can also have hyperlinks that will allow you to send the user additional information or to a website. So really you have all that you need to create a professional page for your event. And then if you want to see it in a larger format, you just click here. It hides the wizard, and you can actually look at it in a much larger view. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you is with regards to the appearance is that you can modify the header. So just something very simple. Here you can choose a color, you can choose an image, you put your logo in there, and you can tell positioning, how you'd like it to be positioned, and then what pages do you want this header to show up on. And we give you 2 different headers that you can choose from. So again, you can mix it up and make your event have a nice look and feel as you're going through the pre-event pages, the live, and the post. And then this is where you can put in all the text in the different areas. But it's essentially a template that makes it very easy for somebody to set up in minutes. I mean, it's very simple and very easy. And here's where you would select your hyperlinks. And then always you just click here and you can view it. So make your changes and then you can immediately view it. Then we have the settings area, and this is where you kind of set the title for your channel and the basic description, and you can even title the browser tab to however you'd like, so that when somebody clicks on the link and they look at the browser tab, they know they're at the right at the event. And then of course we have a security area. And you can choose to have a login or no login for additional security. You can choose to have it viewed within Medial on a player page, or you can have it viewed in the browser, as I was mentioning earlier. And like I said, if you want, you can add additional security, and then you can say, if I have login with a password, at what point do I want that password to become active? Do I want it on the pre-event page 1? Maybe pre-event page 2, or maybe I want it to be right before the live event. So people can click on this link, they can get a flavor for what's going on pre-event page 1 and pre-event page 2. But unless you've registered and got the password, you're not going to be able to watch the live event or the VOD that will be available on the post-event page. Okay. Going back to settings, I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up the encoder that you would be using, either the Media Live app encoder, or we've got a couple of our partners where we'll send the XML file directly to the encoder device. Okay, so give me a second here, and I'm going to reflect my iPhone. Okay, so I have clicked here earlier, and I have sent this particular channel an email to my device. And right now you are looking at my iPhone, and this is my email is open. And then I'm touching my iPhone right now, the link, and it automatically is opening my app. So now I'm a new user. You've given me, Mr. Admin has given me a live channel, and you say, hey, download this app, and you're going to be able to start streaming your class. So I just click on that link, Medial Live opens, and I say yes. And now all of the encoder settings for this channel are already populated. And the only thing I need to do is click on the big red button, and I'm actually going to start streaming. Okay? So I will go ahead and start the stream, and I'll take you back to the director's view. And there we are. We're streaming live. This is my phone streaming. Okay? And I'll take you here. Let me go to the switcher. Okay, so that's only the preview. I'm going to the switcher. I'm going to go to the live. So now we're streaming live, and I'm going to go to the browser, and this is what my audience is seeing, and they didn't have to do anything. Just click on the link, and then the stream comes through. So we start here, pre-event. You promote the event here. Maybe a week before, you click here, and you've got some kind of event promotion video going on. Then minutes before the event is going to start, you click here, turn on your cameras, and you're actually live streaming. Okay, and that's the audience view again. Then once the event is finished, you're going to click back on the red button. The stream is going to stop. And you're going to switch as the director to the post-event view. The post-event page comes up with a video roll, letting viewers know that the archived version will be available shortly. So once the event has finished transcoding on the back end, this video will be replaced with the actual event itself. And again, it's a single URL for all of these screens. Now, somebody that had maybe possibly couldn't watch it or missed it or wanted to watch it again, they just click on the link, and now that you as the director have selected post-event view, that's what they're going to see. Now, of course, all of this can also be time-based. If you don't want to be the director, you can actually set this up to by date and time to roll through, one or all of these pages. Now, in the case of, let's say, a class, you might say, okay, I don't really need these pre-event pages. I'm just going to select the live streaming page to start streaming at the beginning of class. Say, Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, switch the system on, make the live channel active, and make the URL that we've published to our students go to the live page. And at 9 o'clock, when the class is over, I want you to switch over to the post-event page. Now, a great workflow for flipping classes or lectures is to put a iPad or an iPhone on a tripod, wear a Bluetooth headset, so now you're giving audio to that iPhone or iPad, and just point it at the front of the class where the lecturer is speaking. Either have a teacher's assistant turn it on, or possibly use our iWatch app to turn it on and off at the conclusion of your lecture. So then the system will automatically switch it over to the post-event page at, say, 9 o'clock. When the class is over, the teacher really just needs to grab the iPad or iPhone and the tripod and walk out of the class, not worrying about uploading the lecture, because the system will take care of it automatically, and it'll be archived into Medial. And then, of course, once it's archived into Medial, it's going to be available for inclusion in one of the LMSs that we build plugins for, like Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas. So that really is the overview of the Media Live workflow. You have the ability to create a professional workflow without the professional. Back over to you, Rob. So now that the event is over, I'm turning off my cameras, and I'm going to go ahead and switch to the post-event page, which I have selected a video that will let them know that an archived copy will be available shortly. So I click here, it sends a signal to the browser and refreshes it with the new page. Once the file has finished transcoding, this video will be replaced with the actual event. So you have a complete solution from start to finish. And that is the basic overview of Media Live workflow for a live event. Now, in the case of a class, you would probably do something simpler. You would just come here, you would have the class start streaming at 9 o'clock. You would have, let's say, an iPad on a tripod. The teacher could wear a Bluetooth headset, which would connect audio to the iPad. They would have the Media Live app running, or the teacher's assistant would turn it on at 9 o'clock. The system here would automatically bring it to this page, and then she would, or he would, record the lecture. And then at the end, the system would flip it over to the post-event page, and the teacher would essentially not have to worry. They would grab their iPad and walk out of the classroom knowing that the lecture that she just broadcast is going to be archived, put away into the media library, and available for he or she to either send out a link to students, or because it's in the library, it will now be available in learning management systems such as Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas that we make plugins for. So that's the overview. I'm going to wrap it up here and give this back to Rob. Thank you.
Thanks, David, for that demonstration of the new live capabilities. I can already see a lot of questions coming on through the chat on that subject, which we'll address a little bit later in the Q&A. So on to the last area, which is Medial Learning. And this has been a mainstay of the product for a long time now with our Blackboard building block, our Moodle plugin, our Canvas integration as well. Now what I'm going to do in this section is I am going to do a brief run through of our Moodle plugin for those people that aren't aware of it. The capabilities are very, very similar to the Blackboard and the Canvas integrations, but I'd just like to highlight the things that our integrations do, just for the people that are on the call today that either haven't integrated our product with their LMS system yet, or are looking to do that. And then I'm going to move on after that very, very quick run through to talk about our new product, which is called Medial Lecture, which is a screen capture software which works with Medial. So as I said, we have these integrations with Blackboard and Moodle and Canvas, and essentially what these integrations are is they're a way of uploading and adding content to Medial through the text editor within these specific products. So within Blackboard, we're an option off of something called the Mashups menu, and within Moodle, we're a button that appears in the rich text editor. We're also a button that appears in the rich text editor in Canvas as well. So briefly to go through this, in Moodle, we have two ways of getting content into Medial. You could do that through an activity like an assignment, for example, or you could do it through the specific Medial activity that exists when you install the Moodle plugin. Once you're adding an assignment, for example, you click on the Medial button, and that allows you to add content to Medial either via uploading a piece of content or recording yourself. And then what you do is, if you want a student to be able to submit a video in response to your assignment, you have to check the option for the video assignment submission type. And that video assignment submission type is something that only appears in the case of you having installed our plugin. So it's unique to us. And then the same is true of Blackboard as well. Once you're into the Medial plugin within Moodle, you have the option to either upload a new item, record your webcam, or choose from an existing item that you may have already uploaded. And once you go through that process, it embeds a fully responsive media player within the text editor within Moodle. When users view that, again, the player is completely responsive, so that if they're viewing it on a different device, like an iPad or an iPhone, for example, the player will respond to those particular devices and will resize. The other thing to say here is that really there's been a huge growth in organizations wanting students to record themselves as videos in response to assignments that are set. So we have this functionality within our product whereby students could either record video or just audio if they wanted to via the plugin. And there's ways and means of making the plugin only available to users in terms of students to just do that or to add whatever content they like. So moving on to the new product that we will launch alongside v5, it's called Medial Lecture. Medial Lecture is really a recognition of customer demand that we've had to create a content creation tool for all of these LMS systems, and essentially to allow our customers to create their own content. Because what we have had in the past with Medial is a very good mechanism of making content available and protecting it and adding content to an LMS system.
Thank you.
But we haven't necessarily had our own tool to be able to produce content. So Medial Lecture will allow you to record your screen and webcam, or purely just your voice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a demo of Medial Lecture within the new user interface of version 5 of Medial. So I'm already logged in with my user account, and what I do is I click on this icon here to record my screen. It launches the Medial Lecture application, which then appears in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, just here. I can then decide what I'd like to record. So in this case, to show the full capabilities of the software, I'm going to record my screen, webcam, and my voice. I decide the area of the screen that I'd like to record. So I'm actually going to record my full, I'm going to record my full browser window. And I'm actually going to make my webcam slightly smaller, and I'm going to move my webcam as well to the bottom right hand corner of the screen, just here. So at this point I could decide to do pretty much whatever I want, display whatever application I want because I'm on my PC here. I could as well, if I wanted to, decide to add some annotations so I can draw over the screen. So if I click on the draw button, so I've got a variety of different things that I can choose. I'm just going to choose the pen in this example, and I'm going to just draw an arrow for the sake of argument, but you could pretty much do whatever you like there. Once I'm done, I click the cross. I could pause the recording at this point if I wanted to as well, but I'm actually going to finish my recording. Once the recording is finished, it takes me into this screen here where I'm able to edit my video. So I've got lots of capabilities here. I've got the ability to trim the video in terms of top and tailing it, chop, so I could take pieces out of the middle of the video, and I could add titles and credits to my presentation as well. Once I'm happy with my timeline, either the trimming, chopping, or adding titles and credits, I click Done. At this point, I can add my metadata and my description and tags. And my email. And in Medial, I can choose the category that I want to upload it into based on my user rights. So I'm going to put it into the astrophysics category. And I could preview it at this point, but I'm simply going to click Upload. The content is now uploaded, and I can either view the piece of content just through this link, or I can close the application. At this point, the content will go into the content area within Medial, just here, Rob's presentation. And the interesting thing here is there's actually no transcoding to be done, because the transcoding is all done on the fly within the application. So if I click here, the content once uploaded is actually instantly available within Medial. So as a brief recap on the Medial Lecture app, you can record your screen and webcam or voice. Once you've started the recording, you can add annotations or pause, for example. Once you've finished your recording, you can trim, chop, add titles and credits. And then after that, you upload your content into the Medial library with one click into whichever category you'd like to add it into. And that concludes today's webinar on v5.0 of Medial. We'll now move into the question and answer session of the webinar. So if you'd like to pose any questions, you can do that through the GoToWebinar interface, and we're going to take those questions now.